Welcome back to Zamac Dragway for the No Time Kings After Party. In the last video, we wrapped up the 5-event point series with our winner Arlo being crowned. But along the way, we had quite a few ties for position. So even though those are their official finishing spots, we are going to have a little party tonight. We're going to turn the timer back on and we're going to run tiebreakers for all of these and end up with an order from 1 to 32. What we're going to do different is no chip draw, because we are going to run both lanes. So they're going to run once, switch lanes, run again. Fast time wins. We got the timer lit up with the times tonight, and we are going to see who's the fastest. Matter of fact, we'll probably run some of these guys just to let them see how fast they really were. And speaking of that, this guy up here, Mr. Arlo, managed to break the track record 5 different times during the point series that we ran. I was promising all along that I'd tell you what those times were, so this is it. Here we go. The official track record was 2.044 as set by me. That was before I ever had anybody else here running their cars. So that was one of my house cars. For the first time Arlo beat the track record, it was with a 2.042. Then he came along a little later with a 2.040. Next time he beat it was a 2.037. So it seems like his lube was getting faster and faster as the car broke in. Then he beat, for the 4th time, he beat the track record with a 2.034. So he's now 10 thousandths faster than the track record. And then he had a hero run with a 2.023 where he absolutely shattered the track record. Now, unfortunately, he never quite got back in that territory again, but he very consistently ran in the low 2.03s. So we're going to go ahead, even though he's got first place locked up. Variant was locked up all alone in second place. We'll run them, let you see their times, and then we'll do some tiebreakers. Guys like Sinestro here in 5th was all by himself, but anywhere we see the cars lined up side by side, those were tied for position. So we're going to run these all, get a 1 to 32, and have some fun. Here we go with the first race. We've got first place Arlo in the left lane and second place Variet Skunkworks in the right. Like Arlo in the left, 2.045 to 2.072 for Variet Skunkworks. We'll switch lanes. All right, now we got Variet in the left and Arlo in the right, which is the far lane. Goes Arlo again, 2.045 to 2.067. Next up, we've got Laro in the Wicked Fast Maverick taking on Zizzer Prime in that Mustang. Both of these guys did very well. They're tied for 3rd and 4th, so let's get it settled. It's like Zizzer Prime, 2.059 to a 2.076. So now you're probably saying to yourself, wait a minute, Zizzer just ran a better time than second place Variet. But you know, that's the chip draw effect from, you know, drawing chips from the bucket. Sometimes you draw a tough opponent early, and sometimes you get lucky and don't draw them till the end. So Zizzer had a couple unfortunate early draws on Arlo, and even though he might be a faster car, it set him back in the points. There we go. Laro was with him most of the way to the end, but then he slowed down a little, and Zizzer comes through 2.054 to 2.071. Good runs. That'll give Zizzer 3rd place and Laro 4th place. Now you also notice that sometimes the lane makes a difference, and that was the other thing with the chip draw. We were drawing for lanes too, and some nights the left lane was faster, I can tell you that, and some nights it was the right lane. I'm not sure what makes the difference, but there definitely was one, so that did play a factor in your points too. Alright, so now we got Sinestro over here in 5th all alone. and Larry Fish over here in 8th all alone. So we're going to go ahead and just run them to get their times and let you show what they were running, or let you see what they were running. Sinestro on the left, Larry Fish in the right. It's like Larry Fish, 2.071 to a 2.081, 10,000 speed. Lanes are swapped, 2.071 is the time to beat. Larry Fish, 2.058 to a 2.074. Nice run. All right, here we got a tiebreaker race for 6th place. Dusty Miles in the left lane driving the Firebird, taking on RC Addicts in the right lane driving a Chevelle. This will be winner gets 6th, loser gets 7th. Nice close race. About half a car for Dusty Miles, 2.070 to 2.094. Lanes are swapped and Dusty Miles is sitting on a 2.070. Can RC Addicts top that? Oh, Dusty in the right lane, 2.068. He improved by 2 thousandths. So that'll put Dusty in 6th and RC Addicts in 7th. Larry Fish was in 8th. Now we're going to settle 9th and 10th between Dad Elevation, Diecast Racing, and Cut Rocker, driving the Zamax Speed Shop Prepared Camaro. Dad from Elevation in the left lane and Cut Rocker in the right. It's like Cut Rocker with a 2.087 to a 2.091. Close race. Dad needs better than a 2.087 and a win to take 9th place. It's like Cut Rocker by a Fender, 2.078 to 2.086. He was faster, but so was Cut Rocker. So there's your 9th and 10th. 9th to Cut Rocker, 10th to Elevation. And for you guys wondering, this is the computer I've got hooked up. Shows you the laps in order. So this is how I kept track of it, even though the display clears. I've still got them recorded here, so it's a little Excel program that's tied into my finish line. Works out pretty nice. So now we've got a 3-way tie for 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's Steve Chase, Chase Family Racing, Jabo, Dog Squab Racing, and Looser Kitterman Speed Shop, or Kitterman Racing. So what I'm going to do is I'll run 2, and the winner will race Looser, and then we'll take the fastest times, put them in order with the winning times and losing times, and that will be determined. So let's try it. Jabo in the left lane and Steve from Chase Family Racing in the right. Zach Steve, by quite a bit, 2.064. That's a good time. 2.130. Now here again, it was luck of the draw. You know, Steve's obviously has a little bit faster car than Jabo there, but they ended up in the same place in the points. So that all had a lot to do with the chip draw, who your opponent was, what lane you got. 2.064 is the time to beat. About a car and a half, 2.074 to 2.109. All right, now we got Looser in the left lane, taking on Steve in the right. And Little Chevette's had some pretty good runs during the course of the 5 events. About a car and a half for Steve, 2.068 to 2.114. 068 is the time to beat. 062 to a 101. Nice hit, Steve. Alright, so Chase Family Racing earned 11th spot. Now we're going to run Jabo and Looser for 12th and 13th. I think they're a pretty close matchup, and I'd like to see them run against each other. So it's party time. Let's do this. Oh, Looser took off like a rocket. Jabo started making up ground, and then Looser held him off by half a car. 2.019 to 2.114. Nice race. Lanes are swapped. Jabo needs a better than a 2.109 and a win to move on and take 12th place. There it is. Looser in the left lane, 2.110 to 2.136. Looser takes 12th and Jabo 13th. Alright, so Cash Money Boys is all locked up in 14th. Then we got a three-way tie for 15th. So I'm going to go ahead and run him against A-Rod. Then I'll run Clay 131 against Dutch. Then we'll see what we do with him after that. So let's just go ahead. I want Cash Money Boys to get a run, get some data for future reference. So let's run this one and see what happens. Couple of blower cars here. Cash Money Boys in the left and A-Rod in the right. Wow, that was close. There we got Cash Money Boys 2.092 to 2.098 for A-Rod. Alright, 2.092 is the time to beat. Another close race. 2.098 to 2.097. A-Rod did win, but not fast enough time. Make a big difference because he had 14th locked up, but now we know. We look at that 2.097 and let's see how these two race, and then we'll decide whether we just give them a position or race them off against one of these. Alright, here we got a little rivalry between Wisconsin and Minnesota with Dutch Clutch Racing in the left representing the Cheeseheads and Clay 131 in the right representing Minnesota. Like Clay is out front, but Dutch was running him down, and the winner was Dutch. He did it in the left, 2.092 to 2.096. Clay got out to a good lead, but Dutch ran around him on the big end. All right, here we go. Let's see if that was just a hero run or if he can do it again. Once again, it's Dutch with a tie. He wins with the unknown 10,000s, 2.101 to 2.101. Great race. All three of these had really close times, so we're going to go ahead. We know Dutch beat Clay. Let's drive these two together, see what happens. A-Rod in the left and Clay 131 in the right. It's like Clay. Now he comes through with a 2.090. Where was that last run? It's like that Mustang's running a little better in the air off of that Pinto than it did off of the Cougar that Dutch was running. 2.90 is the time to beat. .085, he's waking up to 2.102. Better late than never. All right, we're gonna go ahead and give Dutch this position, which is 15th, 16th, and 17th. He beat Clay fair and square, and Clay just beat him fair and square. So we're gonna call it good at 15, 16, and 17. Now we're gonna go ahead and race these two off for 18 and 19. And we got Scorchin' Scooter in the left. Another one from the same area as Clay 131 and Dutch Vanderschiff. Lives up in that same area, and he's taking on Abby Normal in the Pro Mod Camaro in the right lane. Wow, Scorchin' Scooter was out front. Yes, he did. Abby Normal came up alongside him and took it by an unknown 10,000ths. 2.154 to 2.154. Watching through the camera, it kind of looked like he might have drove around him, but I can never tell until I look at the times on the end there. So here we go. Lanes are swapped. That time it was Scorchin' Scooter with a 2.152 to a 2.155. I think it was a 2.154 where they were tied. Let's go check just to make sure I remember right. And there it is. So 2.152 is moving on. Takes the number 17 spot. My apologies, that was 18th. So Abby Normal 18th, Scorching Scooter 19th. Now we got to figure out what we're going to do with all of these. Oh boy. All right, so this is for 20th place. We have 7 cars tied. So in order to settle 20th through 26th places, I'm just going to start running them in pairs. And we're going to write down their fastest winning time, and then we're just going to sort them in order, because we could be here running these all day trying to figure out who's the fastest. So when we get down to this one, maybe I'll just have them run A-Rod, just so we've got somebody to run against. So let's go ahead and just start running them and see what their winning times are. Kirky G in the Mustang is here to party against that black Chevelle of Ragin' Ricky. Good to see you back up and racing, Kirky G. We missed you for a little while there. Ragin' Ricky, 2.105 to 2.125. Lanes are swapped. 2.105 is the time to beat. Ooh, Kirky G was right there, but Ragin' Ricky again, 2.118 to 2.128. Alright, so Kirky G put down the best time at 2.125 and Ragin' Ricky at 2.105. And that brings us up to these two. Wizard of Oz in the left lane, taking on Lone Wolf Racing in the right. Rob Iron Fame Vessler doing the driving. Close race, but right at the end, Wizard of Oz steps her down and gets home with a 2.086 to a 2.122. Nice hit. Lanes are swapped. 86 is the time to beat. It goes with 2.089 to 2.141. Alright, we got Wizard of Oz, best time of 2.086, and Lone Wolf with a 2.122. Joe Tang in the left lane, driving a Nova, taking on the local boy Monkey Man in the right lane with that gas monkey Corvette. Joe Tang with a 2.123 to a 2.135. Lanes are swapped. 2.123 is the time to beat. Ooh, Monkey Man comes around him. Joe Tang slowed down, must have had a problem. 2.135 consistent for Monkey Man, but 2.142 is much slower for Joe Tang. Alright, so Joe Tang with that 2.123 has the best time, and Monkey Man is a 2.135. One guy left to race. Alright, so now we got Nitro Z in the left lane, and we're going to go ahead and run Monkey Man, since he's a local boy, in the right lane again. His time will not count. He stands on the time he just recorded, but this is just to let Nitro Z get a time in the books. .140 for the Monkey Man, 2.205 for Nitro Z. 2.140 is the time to beat. Much closer till right at the end. 2.139 to 2.196. There you go. We'll put that one in the books for you. And there we have it, 20th through 26th. So we got Wizard of Oz in 20th, Ragin' Ricky 21, Joe Tang 22, Lone Wolf Racing 23, Kirky G 24, Monkey Man 25, and Nitro Z 26th. And that brings us up to a 6-way tie for the 27th place. I'm going to run these the same way we just did it. We'll run them in pairs and record the times, and fastest times get the positions. Alright, we got Sparky Racer in the left lane, Thunderbird with the big wing, taking on Boggs Family Racing in the right lane. Chevelle Wagon with the wing. And I gotta tip my hat to you guys for adding the wings like I asked. I put that in the race rules in the beginning. I said I'd love to see some wings, and a bunch of you guys did. And thank you to all you guys I appreciate you going with the spirit of the race. Here we go. Boggs was out front. Sparky Racer might have ran him down, and he did. 2.200 to 2.211. Close race. He went around him. Lanes are swapped. Let's see if that makes a difference. That time Sparky ran away with it most of the way. 2.184 to 2.243. Alright, so Sparky Racer with a 2.184 is his best time, and Boggs with a 2.211. And I do have to go back and make a correction on this last set of them. I had Joe Tang ahead of Lone Wolf, but I'm wrong on that. So 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So Lone Wolf is 22nd and Joe Tang is 23rd. Next up, we got Puff in the GTO, who always sends a beautiful car everywhere he sends a car to race. And he's taking on the local boy, Nasty Nitro. And the door slammer. Close race. Looks like Nasty Nitro by a hair, 2.119 to 2.123. 4,000 speed. Well, let's see if the lanes make a difference. Puff coming at you in the right now. Looks like Puff gets it by unknown 10 thousandths. 121 to a 121. So now we gotta go back and check the timesheets. Refresh the memory. Alright, so looking at the bottom two lines, we had Puff in the left for the first race and Nasty Nitro on the right, so he's got that 119. Then they switch lanes, so 119 will be the best time for Nasty Nitro, and a 121 will be the best time for Puff. Alright, last but certainly not least, we've got Sloppy Bear in the NHRA Chevette taking on Xavier from Diecast Show Customs and that beautiful Pro Mod Mustang. Xavier with a 2.133 to a 2.179 in the Chevette. 2.133 is time to beat. Close race. 2.126 to a 2.172. I think that's fast time for both of them. Alright, so there you have the times, best time for each of these. And we'll get them lined up and tell you your position. Alright, and there we have it. 27 to 32. We've got Nasty Nitro, Puff, Xavier, Sloppy Bear, Sparky Racer, and Boggs Family Racing. And that's a wrap. One final look at all the cars in the final finishing order from the after party. Arlo, Variet, Scissor Prime, Barrow, Sinestro, Dusty Miles, RC Addicts, Larry Fish, Cut Rocker, Elevation, Steve Chase, Blue Sir, Jabo, Cash Money Boys, Dutch Vandershift, Clay 131, A-Rod, Abby Normal, Scorching Scooter, Wizard of Oz, Raging Ricky, Lone Wolf Racing, Joe Tang, Turkey G, Monkey Man, Nitro Z, Nasty Nitro, Puff, Xavier, Sloppy Bear, Sparky Racer, and Boggs Family Racing. Thank you. Take care. I'll start getting these things packed up and shipped out. Might take a couple weeks. I got deer hunting coming up next week. But after this event now, track is going to get torn down and rebuilt better than ever. So keep your eyes out sometime in the future for the next No Time Kings or some other event I'm going to host here. Bye.